had some great fights tonight. I thought the main event was unbelievable, and we'll have hopefully we'll have Benson and Chandler out here to talk about that fight. I thought it was an amazing battle and split decision. So, to me, a lot of people called it a different way, but I think the judges saw it the way they did, and we had the current champion continue his crown. Michael's a great fighter. Benson's a great fighter, and I'm proud of both those guys, and they put on a great show. Also tonight we announced a big signing with Fedor Emelianenko, who I'd like to just ask him to maybe say a few things about coming back to the United States and fighting here for Bellator.
Добрый вечер всем.
Good evening to everybody.
Я очень рад вернуться в Америку, я очень рад вернуться в Сан-Хосе.
I'm very happy to be back to America. I'm very happy to be back to San Jose.
Также очень рад наш продолжение.
But Matt, why don't you open up for a few why don't you say your opening statement?
Hey everybody, hi, and I'm so flattered. I'm so happy that that Bellator is making the moves that they told me that they were going to make. That when we talked, I said, look, these are the names I want to fight. This is what I'm looking for here, and they said, look, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're aiming for, and we're going to go after them. We're going to go after everybody aggressively that we feel that will fit our roster appropriately. And they've done so. I mean, it's great. This is the reason why I left where I was at. Everybody wants a chance to test themselves against the best of all time. And I'm one of the few people that get to say I get that opportunity. I'm just, well done, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's open up for questions. I know Dave has some.
Is there anything as far as heavyweight championship? I know you haven't had a champion lately. Will this figure into perhaps a championship match or an elimination for a championship match?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at our heavyweight division, we have something cooking. I don't really want to say right now, but this fight kind of took that place because we were going to bring something here that we would have a bunch of heavyweights fight, but that didn't. This fight was the #1 priority, and if we were successful in signing Fedor, then we would push that event back, which will probably push it back to summertime. But we'll have something really nice and special here, whether it's here or someplace in the United States or maybe even in Europe, to crown our heavyweight champion at some point.
For Fedor, obviously, have a lot of history with Scott, but what went into the decision to come over to, Bellator at this time, and that decision to fight for Bellator and sign with them?
Что руководило вами, когда вы делали это? Ну, безусловно, у вас был до сих пор отношения со Скоттом, но что руководило вами, когда вот вы решили все-таки вернуться в Америку и биться в Беллаторе?
Ну, конечно, у нас большие, долгие отношения со Скоттом.
Well, first of all, certainly we have a very long relationship with Scott.
Также с Беллатором. Я много раз приезжал, много раз присутствовал на соревнованиях, был гостем.
With Bellator as well. I visited Bellator competition several times, visited as a guest.
Мы неоднократно давали автограф-сессии, где фанаты просили меня вернуться в Беллатор.
So several times we had the autograph sessions where a lot of fans here in America would ask me to come and to fight in Bellator.
Ну и здесь одни из лучших бойцов.
And I can say that the best fighters are here.
Я следил за соревнованием Bellator.
I was following and watching all the competition of Bellator.
И я благодарен Скотту, что он мне дал возможность выступать здесь.
And I'm very grateful to Scott that he gave me that opportunity to perform here in Bellator.
What do you have left to prove? Obviously, a lot of people look at you as one of the greatest of all time, and what are your goals for the rest of your career here?
Ну, мы, безусловно, знаем, что вы один из лучших тяжеловесов. Вот для вашей дальнейшей карьеры какие у вас цели? Какие цели вы ставите перед собой?
Мы заключили контракт на несколько боев.
So we have like multi-fights deal,
И я буду изо всех сил стараться победить.
and I will try my best to win.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Two questions. First one for Matt. Matt, what immediately went through your head when they announced that you were going to be fighting Fedor?
Что он почувствовал, когда увидел, что он будет драться?
Wonder if he's going to wear the sweater. That's what I thought.
It's a sharp-looking sweater.
Oh, it's a sweater of ultimate victory, man. Of course, it's awesome. Honestly, man, it was. I mean, really, it was. Holy shit, that's awesome. You know, like it's the chance of a lifetime. It's what anybody. Like I told him when I was being interviewed. Like when you start scrap, when you start looking at this sport, you set targets on crosshairs on certain people, and like whether it's realistic or not, it's what you look for. And he's the man. I mean, he's done everything in the sport. He's beaten everybody with a name. He's beaten them in incredible fashion. I mean, it's amazing. And the fact that you get the opportunity to do that, like this literally all came through my mind at that moment. I was like, wow, dude, I'm incredibly fortunate. I'm very, very lucky.
And follow-up for Scott. It's one thing to attract free agents. It's another to be able to put together the matches that people want to see. What went through your head that put these two together that you knew was going to be something that people were going to want to tune into?
I mean, if you look at both these, the fighting styles of these two fighters, I mean, I think it's going to be a war, and they're both fast, they're both explosive, and I think that it's going to be a great fight on February 18th here at the SAP.
Any questions? All right, at this time, we'll have you guys start. One more.
Is it 3 or 5 rounds, or is that still to be determined?
No, this will be 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
Yeah.
All right, at this time, we'll have you guys stand up for a photo op. Okay. And then we'll bring our Bellator 165 main card competitors up.
So how do you want, Dan? You want to just
Have them in
face each other? Okay. So you guys just.
Down center here, guys. Thank you.
Scott.
It'll be a great time, brother.
Okay. Let me get in here. Let's take a picture together, boys.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. See you, brother. Have a great camp, man.
Go get her. Thanks. And So, wait, do I have to go? Okay. It's crazy. It's a crazy fight. How you doing? Are we gonna wait for Michael? Or?
Now let's get started.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we just have the fighters say a few words? We'll start with Fernando.
Guys, I had an amazing time tonight. I definitely wanted to touch that chin, and I didn't go my way tonight, but the love and support of the crowd, I definitely felt like I won that fight, and I was just super impressed with how I know how I saw it, and I'm glad that the fans saw it the same way. So, man, it's rough to have a loss, but if that's the way I'm going to lose, then that's fine with me. I felt like I won that fight, and I thank you guys for coming out and supporting us.
Great MVP.
Yeah, normally I put on a show. I always got people high expectation. I think I had a bad day at the office for me in terms of the standard that I normally, strive to push for. But when you're working with someone that's being negative for 10 minutes of the fight, it was very difficult to kind of get anything off. And then the last round, I was a bit disappointed in myself in terms of actually trying to figure out the timing in the fight. But as much as it was a bad day at the office for me in terms of where I know I can be, I still definitely won that fight in terms of scoring 2 rounds to 1. So I really don't understand what this guy was seeing.
Adam?
I'm really happy with the opportunity that I had today to fight against a top contender and Brandon Gertz. He's a really tough and really respectable opponent. I was amazed by the crowd here in San Jose yet again. The roar really gets me going. Just really happy with the night. He did hurt me with a good body shot and slowed me down a little bit. So a little disappointed I wasn't able to put him away, but I'm looking to fight, top contenders and put them all down.
Great. Carrington?
What's up? Had a tough fight tonight against Jake Roberts, tough opponent. I knew he was going to be tough. Basically, he came with a lot of heart, just like I expected him to. I stood the test. It wasn't in the fashion. The win wasn't in the fashion that I would have liked it to have been. I like to dominate, and I didn't do that tonight, but I'm happy I got the win, and I look forward to showing you guys what I could do in the future.
Great. Carrie?
What is just how I did today? Sorry, I came
Yeah, just some opening comments about how you felt about the fight.
I was a little bit nervous, but really excited for my debut. But it was fun to get on the little gloves and to punch with those little gloves. It was great.
Great. Thank you. Let's just open it for questions at this time.
Yep. Questions? Zach?
This will be for MVP and Fernando. Since, Fernando, you weren't happy with the decision, and MVP, you weren't happy with your performance, would you guys like to do a rematch?
Definitely. 5-rounder if possible. I'd love. Let's go the distance. Let's give the fans a show.
An MVP?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'll take a rematch, but at the same time, I got other things in mind, and he didn't take his chance, so I'm going to keep moving on and upwards.
This is for Adam. Adam, you kind of moved from prospect to contender with this one tonight. Who do you see yourself fighting next?
I really like the winner of Compost Pitbull.
All right, cool.
Can I ask one? MVP saying he wants to dodge any next fighter. Understandable. But my thing is, you can't dodge that forever. Would you be willing to fight 5 rounds eventually with him? Because I know I'd love to see that.
I don't care for your opinion.
All right. Other questions?
This is for Michael. You mentioned that things kind of went wrong in the sense that you were disappointed in the first 10 minutes. I mean, what kind of can you kind of go into detail on what didn't work out for you?
Yeah, no, I just felt like I was chasing a headless chicken. It was very difficult to get anything off when someone was being so negative. I was trying to draw him in, trying to landed a few jabs, landed a kick, and just tried to pull him in a bit more. Which again, he kind of backed out. He like ran for 10 minutes, and then in the final round, when he was pressing, I just didn't get my timing off that I would have liked to land the shots that I was hoping to land, and that's where I'm more disappointed in myself. But whoever that judge was who scored it 30-27, don't ever sit in that corner again when I'm fighting, please.
You gassed out, bro. You started going, stayed away from your range the first round till you gassed yourself out, started coming after you in the second, and you completely ran away from me in the third. So I'm pretty sure the judges got that right.
Wait, who won again? Yeah, they did get it right.
30-27,
No, they
right?
got it right. They got it right.
30-27, right?
They got it right. They got it right.
All right. It's for Fernando. What do you think you could have done different to possibly get the win tonight?
I pressed a little bit more earlier in the second because as soon as he started backpedaling, I had to play it smart. He is a good counter puncher, so I had to let him run himself out that first round and started coming after him the second and pressed him in the third. But he's got good range, so obviously I'm the shorter fighter, so it was a little bit difficult for me to land a clean shot. But I was coming after him, and I shut his game down. His thing is the counter, and I shut him down today.
By doing nothing.
Yeah, I have a question, another one for Adam. Being from the general area, how do you feel like the crowd got behind you tonight? How did that help you in the fight?
It always helps me, when I feel the pressure and the love of the people around me, it drives me, motivates me, especially, deep into that third round. I was tired from taking that body shot, I was pulling on the knee bar, and I felt the crowd behind me. I was pulling, and I hope the guy's okay, because I did feel some cracks and pops, but it really motivates me, it drives me, it makes me feel like I'm on top of the world when I hear him screaming for me.
My question's for Kerry. Kerry, how... With the quick finish that you just had tonight, and congratulations on your debut, how quick do you want to get back in there, and just how did you feel in there tonight making your MMA debut?
Oh, it felt amazing. I loved doing it in San Jose, so I felt super comfortable and calm, and I was excited. I kind of have to see when Gilbert is going to fight, because I'm going to let him go next, and then once we get his fight situated, then we'll talk about mine.
Adam, one more time. What inspired you to go out there and strike with Gertz tonight? We've seen you, coming through Bellator mostly on a submission and grappling game plan. What inspired this new you we've seen?
I'm always striving to be the smartest, the most well-rounded fighter that I can. I train not just a traditional kickboxing style, but I train a Cambodian style of Bellator, and it's been constantly evolving over the past 10 years. Fighting a tough guy like Gertz, who, I have range on, I have distance on. He has a good wrestling game. I wasn't going to gas myself just trying to take him down the whole time. Plus, I want to make an exciting fight too. So, with those things in mind, I try to keep it standing and hurt him as much as I could.
Awesome. Thank you.
This question is for Carrington. Being on a plant-based diet, vegetarian, how did that affect your performance?
Basically, it's always made me better ever since I began it, ever since I started it, just on a universal level and on a personal level. It's just got my energy and my vibes more pure, and it makes me stronger. So it's a good look. It's a good change up.
For Kerry, you mentioned just a second ago about Gilbert and everything. Do you think that is there a thing with you where you guys feel that you shouldn't fight at the same time and that one will help the other prepare, and is that why you kind of said what you said?
Yes, definitely, especially if I'm going to do MMA. He's been my head MMA coach for this camp, especially against a girl that was 2-0 and wanted to probably wrestle and grapple a little bit. So I definitely need him there in my camp. And previously when I do my kickboxing matches, you know, he could train, and he fought 4 weeks after me after I did my last kickboxing match, and I had my other coach, Johnson on the Wooden Man, helping me out. So I think, you know, if my next bout is going to be MMA, I need him there the whole time.
This one's for Michael. So before the fight, you talked about how you were planning on putting on a show, and obviously, I mean, I don't know, obviously, but did you possibly hear the boos that were going on during the fight and after the decision? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, no, obviously you don't ever want to get booed. I've been in situations where I've been booed before. It doesn't. In this particular situation, it was due to the performance. Usually, it's because I'm coming in from abroad and I'm not the hometown person. So, yeah, again, it was just added to the frustration for me and the performance that I know that I can put on. But everyone has a bad day at the office, and I had a bad day at the office and still took the win. So I kind of have to see it that way, that I've still managed to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and like I said, I've just got to keep pushing forward.
So pushing forward, are you expecting to get a title shot in the near future?
I hope so. Definitely. I saw that last fight, as I'm sure you guys all did. I'm actually happy for Douglas Lima. I think he deserved that, especially after the loss that he actually had. I'm sure there was something wrong. So it was good to kind of see him fit and sharp. And I look forward to a challenge like that, definitely.
Yeah, this is for Scott. When you were managing Strikeforce, you really were able to grow women's MMA, exponentially. Now there's a lot more hands in the cookie jar with USC and Invicta. What is Bellator's plans with their women's division and establishing champions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we were the first ones here. Actually, it happened here. Gina Carano fought Elena Maxwell in 2006, December of 2006. We were the first, major fight promotion company with a television deal or the first company ever to do female fights in the state of California. And so I think the commitment before that was, if you look at the Strikeforce kickboxing era of, the 90s and the early 2000s, I mean, we had female fights all the time, And that really comes from, I grew up in a karate school, and I grew up in a martial arts gym where, women were training with the guys, and it was status quo, and there wasn't this, like female fighting wasn't taboo. But I will say this: when we first started talking to California State Athletic Commission, it was a different director back then. It wasn't Andy Foster. The very first fight we did here was March 10th of 2006, when Shamrock versus Gracie. Conor Lee made his debut. And I said, okay. So we submitted a bout sheet, and Carano was on that list, and they said, no, you can't do it. And I said, what do you mean you can't do it? And the gentleman at the time said, the males are allowed to fight, but the females aren't allowed to fight yet. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. And then we went on, and we promoted the first fight. The second fight that we did here was Alistair Overeem fighting Vitor Belfort. And then the third fight was a fight that eventually Elena and Gina got together and had the first fight. So getting back to your and that again was a little bit quirky, because the athletic commission at the time said you can't fight 5 rounds. The females have to fight 3-minute rounds. So it was a process of us committed to promoting the females and having them fight. But I think that way before MMA was even allowed to go on in the state of California, we were already promoting female fights, world champion kickboxers, and it's always been in our DNA because of the belief of, these are people that you train with. I mean, why shouldn't females be allowed to fight? When I came to Bellator, I said that's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to go after some of the top females, and I think we have. I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to be a process. I mean, building our men's division, I mean, we've accomplished some great things this year, but it's going to be accomplished. Give us another year or another 2 years. What is the league going to look like at that point? What is our roster going to look like at that point? I mean, it's going to be amazing, and I think this is something we know how to do. I think we're good talent identifiers. We're good star builders, and we have a great partner in Spike TV. And don't forget, Kevin Kay from Spike TV was the one that greenlit the Ultimate Fighter and really turned mixed martial arts around. If he wouldn't have done it at that time, MMA could have died at that point, because they were ready to close shop, from what I understand. and I think that's public knowledge. So Kevin K. greenlit it. He's behind it. Vicon's behind it. This is a company that's just going to move forward, and look at the commitments to the athletes that we brought on this year. Benson and Matt and Rory, and Phil Davis. He was the year before. Fedor Emelianenko, Chael Sonnen, and if you look at the free agents, they're coming this way. The free agents aren't going that way. So to me, we're in a really good position right now. We're going to keep building, and I've always said we're going to be committed to the female division, and just give us another year or two, and I think you'll see some amazing fights, if not the fights that we already have. I mean, I think we have some top females already, but we're committed to the 145-pound weight class and the 120-pound weight class.
A question for Michael and then for Fernando. Michael, obviously, like you said, a bad day at the office. When do you want to get back in the cage again? How soon do you want to get back after it? After this disappointing night for you. And for Fernando, if it's not going to be against Michael, what are some other names that you're looking for that you think you've earned an opportunity to face?
Anybody that's going to give me an exciting fight. I love fighting top competition. I love going out there and proving it to everybody that I belong here, and I'm one of the top 170 fighters in Bellator. When we were in the ring, he said, let's fight again, and now he doesn't want to fight. He's saying he's going to go ahead and move on. I'm pretty sure he knows he didn't win that clearly, and we should do it again. I said a 5-round. I'm ready for a 5-rounder, so if he's still down to do it like he said in the ring, let's go. I'm ready. If not, I'll take whoever's going to give me another exciting fight.
All right, let's go ahead and have lightweight champ Michael Chandler make some opening remarks.
Yeah, sorry I was a little bit late. Man, getting an opportunity to fight Benson Henderson was great. I hate very few things in this life more than going to the judges' scorecards. So it wasn't my most proud performance, but team says you had to watch it to see it to really appreciate it. When you're inside the cage, I'm my biggest critic. So he's a great competitor. He does some things really well. I by no means took him lightly. I knew this was going to be a tough fight, and I fought my heart out and dug deep to be able to do it and be able to come away with the decision. But I just would really like to thank everybody that's been by me, been by my side through the ups and the downs. My team, I've been blessed with the most amazing team. And from my mom and my dad to my wife to my training partners, to Carrington Banks over there, to Abel Trujillo here in the front row, and Neil Melanson, Henry Hooft, Chris Patterson, Drew Goreski, Marquez Jackson. You guys are great. Thank you for sticking by me, and I'm excited to keep on moving forward. I was here in San Jose and went ahead and called out Josh Thompson, and I think I would like to do that fight. I'd like to make that fight happen. So we will see what happens. So thank you guys for coming out and enjoying the fight, unless you were one of those people that booed tonight. But I think I clearly won the fight, won 3 rounds handedly. And he's a tough guy to finish. And if it happens again, I'm going to finish him. So I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll continue with questions.
Mike, I was surprised to hear you kind of apologetic, though, at the end. I know you don't like going to decision, but
Yeah.
I mean, I scored it for you. Didn't you feel like you won the fight? And why do you feel the need to apologize to a somewhat hostile crowd?
Now, I mean, it's one of those things. I've spent the majority of my life really catering to people's needs, really catering to people's feelings, catering to people's opinions. So I'm still getting over that. At the end of the day, I'm a man who makes decisions, and I am led in a certain direction, and I'm not really too worried about people's feelings. But I love to put on a show. I love to be dominant. I love to finish fights. So to go to the judges' scorecards and having one judge call it a split decision, it's not easy, But I'm that guy who every single time I have a split decision, it didn't go my way. So I'm glad I finally won a split decision. Usually Benson's that guy who somehow wins those split decisions, So I'm happy with my performance after talking to my team and talking to the people that I'm surrounded with. I think I did well. Almost finished him in that first round. stayed calm, stayed composed, just tried to stick to the game plan. And I did a lot of things right in that cage, and I feel like I became a better fighter because of this fight. And I added another set of stitches to my legacy. So I'm gonna get that sucker stitched up and try to stay pretty as I bleed on Scott Coker here.
Find this man a towel.
All right, on cue.
Were you nervous at all when it went to the? Were you nervous at all when it went to the judges, or were you not nervous at all?
I wasn't nervous. Benson Henderson is a serial split decision guy, and he won a lot of decisions. He held on to the UFC lightweight title for a while, winning every fight by split decision. So when you're fighting a guy who is good at winning split decisions, and I lost to Eddie Alvarez, lost to Will Brooks, 90% of the media and fans thought I won those split decisions, yet somehow I lost them. Of course, those fears creep up in you, but I knew that I won at least 3 of those rounds, so I was happy with my performance. I just dislike going to the judges' scorecards, and maybe that's one of my downfalls. Sometimes when you're fighting at this level, when you're fighting these tough guys, these guys who are training every single day, guys who know how to win, know how to compete, know how to go out there and fight well and fight hard, it's not easy to finish people, even if you do hit them with everything you got in the kitchen sink. But, I wasn't worried about the judges' scorecards going his way. I thought I won for sure. So,
For Michael Page, curious, why do you think you weren't able to get off combinations in this fight? Can you just technically talk about that? I expected a little bit more combinations.
Yeah, no, as I said before, I felt for someone that's known for his come forward fight, fighting style and being tough, I had anticipated something completely different. That actually came out in the first 10 minutes. It was very, very negative. So it was just difficult for me to get my timing off on anything. I was just short of the knee to go 2 for 2, but again, it showed in things like that. Me missing just off. I could just feel like I just wasn't getting my timing right, and in that last round again, I just didn't feel like I had the timing correct. And I was trying to do it. I was trying to kind of get into the zone, and just didn't. Like I said, it was a bad day at the office in that sense, but definitely still won.
Michael Chandler, what was your game plan going into fight Benson, knowing that it's really hard to finish him?
It is absolutely hard. And I said it, I said it numerous times going into this fight, and I stick by it. I think he's a serial evader. He tries to back up and let you commit, and then hit you with a knee or hit you with the kicks. And he started throwing some kicks, started getting confident with some kicks. He likes to keep that range because he doesn't really. I don't think he doesn't like that confrontation. He doesn't like that. Swinging. He doesn't like those kind of fights, and most of us shouldn't necessarily sometimes if we want to stick to this fight game for a long time. But it was staying calm, staying composed, getting coming forward, keeping on attacking, and I was happy with my performance. I could have done a couple things, a couple notches better, but when you're fighting a guy like Benson Henderson who's been around the block and has been in the cage 30-something times, and he's been a champion in multiple different organizations, you have to be on your P's and Q's, and you have to fight smart. And I was happy with how smart I fought, especially after going out there and almost finishing it in the first round and chasing that knockout. And he just went back to his corner, came back out as refreshed as he was in the first, and then as refreshed as he was in the second. The man doesn't go away, and he's a great competitor. So you just got to be on your game, and you have to be able to weather the storm, and that storm will stick around for hours if you let it.
Let's welcome Benson and have you give some opening remarks.
Remarks?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, remarks. I hate losing. That's it. End of story.
All right.
I have 2 questions. One question is for Kerry Melendez. Kerry, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
We all were expecting you to go to your ground game and we didn't get a chance to see it because you had such incredible stand-up and you knocked her out within the first couple of minutes. Would you like to talk and share with the training that you had at El Nino, at the training center, of your ground game and its development and how it's going for you?
Oh, it's going really well. I've been training grappling for a little bit. So, everything was going according to plan. I felt super confident coming into this fight. And if it went to the ground, I wanted to show that I could get back up or I could handle whatever was going to come my way. So, I don't want to get into any boring details, but training camp was training camp, hard and grueling, but I was ready.
And you're working with Travis Lee as well?
Mm-hmm. Travis Lee's our head wrestling coach, so definitely. And, of course, my husband, Gilbert Melendez, is my main MMA coach, and he was at every practice.
Great. Michael Chandler, congratulations on an incredible win against a phenomenal monster. I'd like to ask you, was he one of your toughest fights? That was an amazing fight.
Absolutely. And I knew that. I think when you're getting ready to fight a man, you look for every hole in his game. You look for every reason why you deserve it more than him. You look at every reason why he doesn't have what you have. He's not on your level. You look for every aspect of the mental game. And I've said it before, I was a fan of Benson years ago. I think he's been in some great fights. He's beat some great champions, beat some great guys. What the guy's done in this sport is nothing short of amazing. And I knew the fight that I had on my hands. I just know that I'm in an aspect of my life. I'm in a season of my life where I'm finally starting to give myself permission to be the best. I'm finally starting to give myself permission to own how great of a fighter I am, how technical of a fighter I am, how tenacious I am, and how I don't have to fight like a madman to be able to go out there and beat somebody technically, beat somebody with just staying smart and sharp and composed and confident. So I feel like I'm on a whole new level, and that's why I kept saying it's the right time for me, the wrong time for him. But got nothing but respect for the man. I like what he stands for. I like the stick-to-itiveness that he has in the cage, and the repertoire of weapons he has in the cage. Nothing but respect for him, and it was a great fight, and I would have to say he's definitely one of my toughest opponents, and obviously one of the biggest name opponents. And this fight opened some eyes in my direction. So great fight. He's a great competitor, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Two questions. Question for Benson. We saw a different Benson, a fiery Benson, and I wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about the exchange that you and Michael had.
Which exchange during the 5 rounds?
After the fight, you two had a little bit of an exchange.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think there was any exchange. I think, we just both got done competing for 25 minutes. We both, obviously have our testosterone going a little bit. But I wouldn't say there was any sort of exchange or whatnot.
Gotcha. And for MVP, is there an added pressure? You've had so many first-round finishes. Is there an added pressure once you start getting towards the end of the first round? Do you feel that you need to finish that fighter?
No, not at all. It's my style. I've been lucky enough to have a style that is very awkward and precise. So I've been lucky enough to finish fights early, but that's not the game plan. And a lot of the times I've even said before the fight, I usually fill people out in the first round and then try to finish them in the second and third. It just happened to finish them in the first. But like I said, it's just a style. I only put pressure on myself to just be better than the last performance. And obviously I got to go back to work now and think about this fight and where I needed to improve and what I needed to do better, and then just come back even stronger. And again, I'm just disappointed that I couldn't put on the show that I normally do as well. But again, I got the win, so.
All right, we'll take a couple more starting in the back.
I have 2 questions. My first question is for Benson. I believe it's a happy birthday, a belated birthday to you, November 16th, right? You're also turning 33. There have been rumors in the past that you've wanted to join the military at 33. Just wanted to know what you are planning to do, or if you have any plans for that.
I'm still definitely going through the process because I am so old. I have to have a couple of waivers, and I have a hand tattoo and all that stuff. So I have to fill out a couple of waivers and do that process. But next for me, I was talking to Mike Kogan, one of the head matchmakers for Bellator. Probably going to end up having an ACL surgery, and then after I have ACL surgery, we'll come back and have some more fights. But that's what's next up in store for me later, probably in December sometime after some of my teammates have their fights.
Okay, my other question is for Michael Page. You keep using the term negative. I just would like to know your definition of that.
In terms of Fernando, sorry.
You keep the way you keep explaining things. You keep saying Fernando was negative and coming at you negative. Just would like
Not
your definition.
negative as in he was backpedaling most of the time, and I expected a come-forward fighter. So, like I said, for 10 minutes of the fight, it was a completely different person that I was actually training against. He lied, like speaking about the six-pack he was going to come into the cage with. So that didn't happen either. But yeah, that's negative.
For Benson, when the fight was over, did you think you were going to get the decision, or what were your thoughts going in before the decision was read?
Going into this decision, I had definitely felt I had done enough to get my hand raised. I knew it was a super close, super tough fight. Hats off to Mike. He's a super tough, great competitor. Fight was close. Did I think I had done enough? I think I did do enough during the fight to get my hand raised, but the three people who counted did not see it that way.
Question is for Benson. How much did that suplex in the first round that Michael Chandler did on you, how much did that affect you throughout the rest of the fight?
I was, for any of the wrestlers in the house, I was going to hit a Granby roll. I'm pretty good at standing Granby rolls. I was going to hit a Granby roll, so I was going to go with it. Looking back, talking to all my teammates, my coaches, they said how much of an impact it had on the judges and on the fans. How it looked a lot worse than it was. So I was like, looking back on it, hindsight's 20/20. I perhaps should not have gone with the suplex. I shouldn't have not let him pick me up and throw me, but I went with the throw to try and Granby out of it instead of trying to stop it. I probably should have instead tried to stop it and not try to do a Granby roll, if you know what a Granby roll is. You can do a Rustam Kabalov in our fight.
You ain't stopping that suplex.
Rustam
I was hoping you were knocked out. I looked back and I said, nope, dang it.
Rustam Kabalov is pretty good at the suplexes also. You can do a simple wrestler trick where you just hook the ankle and then it stops the guy from picking you up and slamming you. Wrestler 101, but yeah.
All right,
a Metzger? You could do perhaps a Metzger, yeah.
At this time, we'll have all you guys slide your chairs back and pose for a photo.